Good morning, readers. Today we are going to be doing some reading and writing. You read today until 11 o'clock and then wrote half page in your reader's notebook, which you should have showed me. And now we're going on to writing. If you haven't already written the following in your writer's notebook, please pause the video and write the following about writing and ending, which is what we're going to talk about today. Pause the video if you need to write this. All right, let's move on to what is so important about a great ending. Well, let's look at some examples of what could happen if your ending doesn't go as planned. Here is a gymnastics ending. Oh, so if you didn't see that, he fell down. It's very important to have a stick to your ending. So make sure you're doing all this work and going through all this writing, the process of writing, the leading up to it, the building of the characters. Make sure your ending reflects the work you've done. Let's have a strong stick to your ending. Boom. Now, endings aren't always the easiest thing. However, there are some principles of crafting a quality ending. Today, I want to teach you that writers take the time with endings. They weigh and consider and revise until they find one that fits. They know a satisfying ending will tie up loose ends, resolve the unresolved difficulties, and bring home the story's meaning. When you were little, maybe about 5 or 6, you learned that ending your stories was easy. All you have to really do is write the end. In 3rd, 4th grade, you know that's not the way to end your story. There will be some final action that brought your stories to a close, but sometimes you'll create a big mess. Talking about 3rd and 4th graders creating a big mess in their writing, and then a swooping action that's somewhat magical comes at the end. Maybe Superman comes and saves the day. Maybe mom comes and clears everything up and gets the bully to stop bullying and apologize. Those kind of endings are great, but you're older now. You're adolescents, almost adults. You have lived a lot more and you have read a lot more. And you know life doesn't work where some big superhero swoops in and saves the day. Sometimes stories end happily, sometimes they are sad. But no one swoops in at the last minute. And the main character, whether it's in your life or in your fictional book, must do something at the end of the story to make it end the way that feels satisfying, and the moments can be big or small. To write an ending worthy of all the work that you've put into for this project, you can do a few things. Here, here's that list of endings. Keep in mind that what your story is really about, and that's the theme. You guys all recognize the theme for your story. You gave it to me weeks ago. If you need me to tell you what it is, just ask. Raise your hand. Mrs. Lang, I need to know, what was the theme of my story again? I will look it up for you. Next, the second thing is pay attention to the structure of the story and make sure the ending fits your story arc. And to do that, you want to see, has the character evolved? Have they changed? Like Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. He's very grouchy in the beginning and very joyful in the end. That change of character is important to every story. Your character needs to have some kind of a change throughout the story. Otherwise, they are boring, stagnant characters. And I will go over that in a minute. The next thing is, how has the plot developed? What else has changed in your plot, moving the story along? And then make sure at the end all your loose ties are tied up. Now, let's talk about characters. Static versus dynamic. This is very important as seventh graders to know what a dynamic character is. A dynamic character is like Shrek, he changes over the story. So in the beginning of Shrek, he is kind of a grouchy type of character that he's trying to push Donkey away and he only does things for himself. In the end, he's a loving character. He's friends with Donkey and he actually found the love of his life. So Shrek is a dynamic character. He changes, just like Scrooge. A static character are those boring characters that don't make any changes throughout the story. An example would be villains, like in Snow White, when the evil queen doesn't change, or the wicked stepmother in Cinderella, they don't change. Do not make your main character, a static character. They should be dynamic and change. Now, let's take a look at a clip from a famous movie ending that you probably know, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the first book from the Harry Potter story. In this clip, notice what specific strategies are used from what I just explained. Now, make sure as you're watching that you're looking for those strategies. And just a quick reminder with Harry Potter, in the first film, in the first book and movie, at the start, Harry lives with his aunt and uncle and cousin, and he's very unloved, and he's kind of a sad little character. Then Professor Dumbledore gets Hagrid to go and get him and bring him to this wizardry school, sorry. And his life completely changes, and he makes friends. He has a purpose. He defeats this crazy monster to some sort, and the ending ties up slightly, maybe not completely because there are more books to come, but for the purpose it needs to be, it wraps up nicely. And here is the ending. Think about those four things that we just talked about. The theme, the character evolved, the plot development, and tying up loose ends.
Hello, Harry. 1 minute.
Thought you were leaving without saying goodbye, did you? This is for you.
Thanks, Hagrid.
Go on, I'm with you now.
All right, let's go back to that list of things that I am expecting in the ending for your story. So let's look at our example from Harry Potter. Keep in mind what your story is really about. The theme of Harry Potter is love, and he shows it in the end by having the love from all of these friends. They're not family members, but they are showing the love for him. And then next, has the character evolved? We are shown that Harry Potter has evolved from that sad boy into this happy boy who has these friends. And how has the plot developed? In the beginning, Harry didn't know who his family was. In the end, he has this photo album with these family members he'd never seen before. It's a nice tie up to those loose ends about his parents. And then the last thing, ensure that loose ends are tied up. They show that he gets on the train at the end. This is also something that happens in the beginning. What this shows is sometimes the end can connect to something in the beginning. And that helps to tie up those loose ends. It kind of bookends your story and makes it a nice pleasant feel. So if you have any questions about these things I'm looking for in the endings of your story, raise your hand. Now let's talk about endings really matter. And an idea for you is write a few different endings and choose your favorite. In the past, I had you write 2 plot lines, and a lot of you guys chose the second one you wrote because it was different and it just worked better for you. What I want you to think about is in your story, in the end, write a couple different endings. Choose the one you like best. You've worked way too hard on this project to just end it with a non-stick. Now, you guys are going to have time today and tomorrow to write. If you are using your time correctly, you should be able to get all your writing done in class. You're going to finish the entire story today and tomorrow. If you don't finish, you're going to need to work outside of class to get it finished by Monday. Monday at the start of class, you should have your entire story finished. If you use your time well, you don't have to work outside of class. Now, here's a couple things. Complete sentences. In your exit tickets, my expectation is complete sentences. Let me show you an example of what I'm not looking for. So begin with capitalization is what you need to do. Here's an example of not capitalizing your first sentence. When you are typing on your computer, make sure that you hit the shift key to capitalize the first letter in your sentence. Sorry about that. The he needs to be capitalized in the sentence. The next example is punctuation. There's no punctuation on this sentence. You need to have a period at the end of every sentence. Make sure every time that you take a breath in your reading, you have a period placed. Example of incomplete sentences would be me and my dog were having a really great day. Period. Went to the store. Who went to the store? Did you go to the store? Did your dog go to the store? Did you both go to the store? Tell me who went. You need to have a subject in your sentences. If you have any questions about complete sentences, please let me know. My expectation is in your exit tickets, you need to be writing complete sentences or you're going to have to redo them. All right, good luck. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Thanks for watching.